Hello, my name is Enno Schmidt, I'm from Switzerland, and we launched the initiative for an unconditional basic income as a people's initiative in the year 2012. And in the last autumn, we arrived at the goal to have 100,000 signatures, what means that legally binding, it comes to a public vote in Switzerland, to a referendum, where everybody in Switzerland, every citizen, has to vote on if they want to have an unconditional basic income or whether not. And this is then an instruction to the government to work out how it can be and to introduce an unconditional basic income. And first, I would like to say this construction in Switzerland is a special thing. And it's not so easily for the most people to understand what this means, because the habit is that you have petitions, that you have opinion polls. But this in Switzerland is a totally different thing. This is democracy. And that means the population, the citizens, are the sovereigns. And the government is servicing the sovereign. And this is the atmosphere. This is not only a nice idea, but this is normal. And that means in this story, for example, when I went to Switzerland to found the initiative in 2006 together with Daniel Haney, we are two. And then we did a website about unconditional basic income. And the important point was, it was a nice website, it was aesthetic, and that means there comes another atmosphere in the discussion about unconditional basic income. Not the poor ones, not we want, but it is attractive, it is nice, it is joy to work for that. And then we did events, and then the press become open-minded for us, because Switzerland, you know, is not such a large country. And if there is an initiative and if there is a new idea, then the people look to it. And we grew up by making films, for example. For me, it was necessary not only to have this written stuff, every time written, black and white written, but to have pictures, and to have movies, and to have interviews, and to be interested by the other people, to be customer-oriented, I can say. Not only oriented by, I have this right idea and listen, but to hear what the people think, and to give the space, an open space, that they can come in, and they can come in from the point where they are. This for me is one of the most important and intensive points, not to think that people has to come to me to hear what I know, because I'm thinking about this the last 30 years, but to realize and to be awake where the people are, what the points are, the standing points are, and that the important point is, if someone can take one small point of this idea, and it grows up in this person, then he comes to an unconditional basic income. When the gap and the border is too high, because I'm so intelligent and I'm so strong in this idea, then it comes to the opposite. So we started as two people first, and with the film I did in 2007 and 2008, that becomes an influence in the German-speaking world, and many people came to the initiative and came to the topic of unconditional basic income then, and I'm very happy and glad that it's seen over 1 million times, and even in Korea, people like that, even if that's only subtitled. So we have the opportunity to go a lively way, not so much a theoretical way, not so much an academical way, and not a way with political personnel, with political people, because my experience is that you stand for the red traffic light by the politicians, because they have their jobs, they have their career, they have their links, they have their commissions, their portfolios, and this is the world professional world. And it makes for the people that they are standing in front of it and hope that they do the promise of the big lever they have. They can decide, they can change something. And the result is that you become old by waiting for that. And the experience in Switzerland is go now, today, go. Because then the ground floor goes with you. Then the next step is possible. Then the people are looking to that. Then this came and this came. And for us, it came that other people came to us and said, it's the time to launch the People Initiative. We don't want that so early, because we thought, no, it's too early. We have to make more consciousness in the society. But they said, no, I'm sure now. And then we said, okay, if you believe to that, then we start the People Initiative. And we did that, and the thought was that the people will come and collect signatures because this is such a great idea. Yeah, a few people came and did that, but not enough. And we have had no network. So this is important too. We have not a strong structure, planning, strategy, networking, and so on. We just go and did that and hope that this will run. And when we realized, so after 3 or 4 months, that it don't run in the way we needed that it runs, because we need in 18 months 100,000 signatures, then other people came to us and created this word generation basic income. And generation basic income means we live like the idea of an unconditional basic income is. So the subject and the form is the same. The method and the way we are handling with it is the same. It's not a theory on the one side and such a deeply live topic on the other side. It is the same. It is to go ahead. It is to build living carpets on which people liked to step on and to act with us, to come together to sporty, competitive action by collecting signatures, to events, so that there are achievable goals, and that it is fun. It is in a way, community. It is meeting, and we have had events in the best hotel in Basel with this project. 100 to 100 people collecting 100 signatures in 1 month, for example. All this in particular processes and steps to come closer to this huge number of 100,000 signatures in the way like you do an enterprise. You need achievable goals, you need space for the people to decide by themselves, not too many having the same meaning. We don't agree in many points of an unconditional basic income, especially the finance, the question to how to finance. There is not the agreement of all, and we don't lose the time to discuss that, because it's much more important to have the power to stand for your idea. And it's not the time now to have it very, very fixed and ready what a model is. It is a living thing, a living topic. The important thing is only to agree that it is unconditional, high enough to live from. Ready? And then we go. And so in this way, to be generous, to be sporty, to be attractive, to be aesthetic, that makes that 2 months before the deadline, we have collected 140,000 signatures. And that was necessary because a lot of them are not significant. So 70% of the signatures are not significant, but then we have 126,000 significant signatures to hand it over to the parliament. And the first question, for example, only because of the atmosphere, the first question from the government, what's the name? Bundeskanzler, the Chancellor, Federal Chancellor. He invited us to come to him and to talk a bit. And the first question was, has there been any problems for you with the offices, with the bureaucracy? Can we do something better for you, more comfortable? So in this, even if this is not so really deeply true from him, more friendly, but you see what the behavior is, what the meaning is. The meaning really is we are servicing the politics, what you are doing, and we are here to do it good for you. That you have not a problem with this totally stupid, absolutely impossible initiative or idea, such a crazy thing. Most of the Swiss people say that it's crazy, but it's democracy, you know, and democracy is the value. It is democracy, and democracy means that the people is the sovereign, and the people bring in an initiative from first 2 and then 4 people and then 20 people and then at least 100,000 people. And this 100,000 people did not subscribe the initiative only because they said, I'm for an unconditional basic income, but because they said, this is an idea, I think we have to discuss it and we have to vote about it. We have to go on a process. It's not black and white. And the democratic process, it's not only the decision yes or not, but it is to figure out and to develop and to deepen a topic and to go on in the public discussion with that, because we are the state. We are, and not a few. So this experience for me leads me to that, I guess, one message from Switzerland, from this initiative, and maybe the first and the main point is the question to democracy, to be able to do something. I have a look to Germany, where are brilliant people fighting, acting for an unconditional basic income, but yeah, and then, after a few years, you have no power. And there is no result. You can make a petition like the Sonne West does it in Germany, and over 50,000 people subscribe this very quickly, and that means you are invited in to the government, to the parliament. Yeah, and the parliament say, oh, that is nice that you are so engaged and so for this, but look, that's stupid, it's impossible. And that was it. So you can't do anything. And in Switzerland, you can do anything. This is an important point for me, because the Swiss people are not more likely to an unconditional basic income like the people in the US or in Canada or in Brazil, but they have this instrument. So at the moment, the point where we are is now that we have handed in this initiative. The parliament and the ministries are working with it. They are looking how it could be, if it's possible at all, and what their meaning about this is. And they will give that back to the government, and the government then will say if it's good to vote yes or good to vote no, or they say we don't say anything about it, be free, it's interesting, we don't say a word. And this is the point in the moment that the leader of this work in the ministries, who leads the figuring out what an unconditional basic income could be and how the message from the government should be, that he said the value of this initiative is that these are necessary discussions and important points. And the value is to discuss it and to vote about it, to have a direction, to orientate the population, that the population can think about in which direction it has to go further on, and that is a value. So they find out, and that's interesting for me, not simply yes and no, but that it is a value is the consciousness, the building of consciousness, the discussion, the common discussion about themes who are affecting everybody of us, and that they find this. So on the other hand, the press in Switzerland is heavily against us, especially the entrepreneurial foundations and clubs and so on. And when they, for example, how we work is, when they wrote real heavy stuff against us, then one of us went to them and made a film interview with the author of this pamphlet. That he has a space and time to say how stupid this idea is. But we do that. We give the space, we give the platform, we give the media that they can express how horrible our idea is. And the result of that is that he becomes more quiet and more thinking about, because he hasn't thought about this idea before, not in relationship with us, and on the other hand, he realized that this is another kind to handle the thing from other side than he usually knows it. And the opponents of this initiative for an unconditional basic income often are the best helper for us, because when the people see how brutal or stupid they argue, then they say, I'm not for an unconditional basic income, but against the opposite of that. And so we are looking to have a good contact to the enemies, and we like some of them really, because it's sporty in a way too. And we have this time now to campaign, to build more consciousness, and in the moment we are at that point to figure out to create new projects. Could be, must be, with a highly public effect, and could be, must be to give the possibility to act for many people in Switzerland, so that it is in every part in Switzerland, because Switzerland, even it's not so large, it is real. The countryside, the mountains, every valley is a world for itself, and the cities and the farmers and all this, it is very disparate. It is 3 languages, and often the people who speak French cannot speak German and not Italian. It's not so that everybody speaks each language, but they are a community. And this is interesting too, this living with a strange one. But there's no question that they are together. But they are very different, they are very separated sometimes. And now we have to look that we have sources of groups, people in every part, in every language, who go deeper in the mass, in the many people. And on the other hand, to use this opportunity, what we have now, to make public this idea of an unconditional basic income worldwide. So the performance we did by handing over the signatures with this 8 million 5 Rappen coins for every Swiss people won, in the value of 400,000 francs, with a truck. With a great truck, what brought this money to the Federal Square and dropped it out there, and we lived on the basic income there a day, so the golden carpet. And it was funny to see what happened. Nothing was planned. We do not plan so many. But you see, people work. Many people are working with these coins to do it together and away and this and that. Some were sitting there eating, some were sitting there talking, some were sitting there sleeping or doing the rest. And so it was real life on the golden floor. And then we took this together again. So, and this made, for example, such a picture what is in the States and in Brazil and everywhere, all over the world. Even the Chinese TV was there to bring this live. And we hope to serve all the movement worldwide for an unconditional basic income with our possibilities in the moment to be so real on a real political platform with this topic. And for me, let's say one point, what is important for me, or what makes something of the success we have is, I think so, that it is a cultural impulse for us. It is not social. It is not for or against the poor or the rich. It is not class struggling. It is not this and not that and not that. It is just unconditional basic income. There are so many topics, burning topics around, and we often have to do with that people say, yeah, but if it don't quit capitalism, I'm not for an unconditional basic income. If it's not a solution for the gap between the rich and the poor, I'm not for that. And for us, this is not the topic. The topic is not the rich and the poor, not the gap, not all this stuff. It is just this idea. And this idea, this is my opinion, from this idea you are able to act in all these other fields like you want. And unconditional basic income is not to say what other has to do, or to have a solution for everything. It is just to focus, for me to focus this. And from this, what includes freedom and responsibility, then you can do what you want. For example, working on the gap, to close the gap between the rich and the poor, or what else. And it does a lot by itself, this unconditional basic income, just the idea, because it's changing values, it's changing behaviors, it's changing habits, and all this stuff. And it focuses for me the middle point, the center point, and the center point is you yourself. It's not anything around, it's not my meaning, it's not that I'm such a lovely man and so for justice. It focuses you yourself, nothing else. And from this, the things come. And that is for me the solution, what is possible with an unconditional basic income. Because it's not to say what others has to do. It's not to fall in these problems all over the world, what I cannot bring a solution. But it focuses to you yourself and to go your way, and we do it for an unconditional basic income. Thank you.